Okay, there we go. And where's my chat? There we go. Okay, welcome everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee. It's Wednesday, hump day. Mike. So anyway, yeah, this is Wednesday. So anyway, I was just saying before I hit record, good morning to everybody that was here and some of the things going on, a couple of things I want to do today. So if you're watching this recording on YouTube, it's a live show on ustream.tv, and it's a little shaky because I think my fan's blowing my um, camera cord there. And anyway, um, so if you're here in the live chat and you want to ask me something, put it in caps so I know you're talking to me. Otherwise, the chat really scrolls by quick and I miss things you're saying to me. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. So, a couple things I wanted to do today. One is Jen Reading with Pugs asked a question somewhere on Facebook yesterday about doing a glow. About doing a glow on someone's hand because she saw a painting that did that. And so she was asking about doing it on a color book. Okay, it's a little flashed out. Let's see what we can do. It's not too bad. I think it's a little, anyway, it'll kind of come and go, I'm sure. So anyway, I wanted to show that I had done on this hand. There we go. I had done a glow on this girl's hand in a color, and she was asking about in color books. So here's how I've done it on here, and she has a glow around her body. Now I've done lots of different glows, and it's essentially the same thing. This is in my color book notebook where I keep all my pages that are 8.5 by 11 that are able to fit in a binder. My 12 by 12 or 10 by 10s or anything like that won't fit in here. Although you could put your larger pages in a binder, in like a scrapbook binder. Hang on, sip of coffee, guys. Oh, great! I just splashed it on here. Sorry. So anyway, I wanted to show that after I clean up my splash here. In a different book, I'll show that in a different book. Move that over here out of the way. That's why I shouldn't have my coffee on the table. And then maybe do a color book page and test out the magicals. I took them out here. I'll show y'all that in a minute. But I bought 3 sets of the magical powders, which are kind of like a powdered ink that when, as far as I understand, and once they are dissolved, the powders, once they're dissolved and wet and resolved. Oh, there's Jen. I was just talking about you, Jen. I'll show you again in a second. That they are permanent. They're not. They won't move. They're like kind of like ink tints does, where they're permanent once they're dissolved. So I got 3 sets of those. Really don't know how to use them well, but I'm gonna show you what I've done so far. What I was showing here a minute ago, Jen, was the glow on her hand right here. That you wanted to know how to do that with color pencils because you saw it on a painting, I guess. Yeah, it was a painting. So I thought that maybe I would just show you. This is the Fantasia book. Kenny sent me this. Thank you, Kenny. So I thought I might just show that. I don't think I'll do the full page. I'll just do a section where, like here on this mermaid. See our hands up like that? That would be a good one. That'll be a good one to show right there. How to do a glow. So it looks pink right now. If we zoom in, we'll get the color situation. It changes with the light. So then the other thing I did yesterday after getting back from the dentist was I built this. I'll show you on the picture because if I move my camera again. So let me show you on the photo here. But it's right here in front of me. I've made a 5-foot long pen and pencil marker holder to sit right here in front of me. It's like right there and within arm's reach. So let me show you the pictures that I took and tweeted yesterday. Okay, so here's what it looks like straight on. This is like what's right in front of me. See right here? That's 5 feet. and I built it out of black foam core and packing tape. So let's see. Let's just probably do it this way. So I have all my Prismacolors are lined up on the whole top shelf up here. All along the top shelf here are my Prismacolors. And then in that little roll-up bag right there, those are my Verathins. Then down here I have all my water, the Crayola super tip water-based ones. They're all right here. Now I don't have what I don't have in this setup are my nice, like my Holbees, my nice pencils that are in cases, my Zig Kuretake water brush, my ink tints. Those are all in cases. But here's all the pens. Remember when I cleaned out the drawers the other day and had all those pens bundled up, the pens I use every day? Well, they're all right here now. All the pens that I use are right there. There's my Poscas. Here's my black pens and my brush pens. I know it's kind of hard to see the black ones. Then I have my Copics and my Hoo Hero markers. They're all the alcohol-based markers. I have all the alcohol-based markers all together. I don't have the Hoo separated from the Copics. I can tell what's what if I need to know. So that's all right here in front of me. Behind that, this is right here on my 6-foot. This is on my 6-foot table right here that I work on. And so behind that, I do have to kind of reach over it to get, hang on. I do have to reach over it to get to my paints here and up here. There's my acrylic paints, and there's more down, like there's another row behind there, but it's no big deal. There's space between there. There's like 6 inches of space, so I can get right behind there, and it's no trouble to get to my acrylic paints. And then Hubster got me these 2 little lamps. So I have them sitting up there now. Look, they're just like little daylight halogen lamps. They're battery operated. And so they're perfect for like if I want some, direct light, like if I'm coloring or something. Anyway, I have them sitting right up here. They don't do much for the stream light, as far as ambient light, but you can see I have them right here and right here sitting on top of it. So, and then here's a side view, kind of like looking at it from an angle. So yeah, it goes all the way across the top of the desk. And so yeah, I think I'm going to like having everything right here in front of me. Now that does not include, also doesn't include my bag o' pencils, these right here. And these all sit on the side like this, so I can get right in them. But these I don't use that often. My gel pens and, the different gel pens and stuff. So those are all in here. And I do need to kind of sort through here and see if there is anything in here I want to pull out and put in my 5-foot holder right in front of me. But I haven't got to that yet. Because, and then Jean was teasing me. Let me put something here for the camera. Jean was also teasing me about, how'd she say it yesterday? About my Neos. She goes, are your Neo Color 2s living in there? Because Jean built herself something like this well, not this long. Hers are more tower type. But she built her some things for her Neos and pins and different things. Hello, Shalene. Anybody else popping in? And, so she was teasing me about, well, don't you have your Neos in there? I said, no, my Neos live in their safe, protected tin home. They stay in their box because they can break pretty easy. Neos can. So anyway, Jean was teasing me about that. Okay, so a couple things. The Magicals. So let me show you which ones I got, and then I'll show you what I plan on doing. And all I got done before I went to the dentist yesterday was this. That's all I got done. I was at the dentist for 2.5 hours. So, so then I came home all numb and built this thing in front of me. But anyway, so I haven't had a chance to really play with my magicals. But my plan is to, like, this is an empty, it was an empty Dilutions. This was just, I have all these spray bottles. If y'all remember, I did the show on my sprays, and I sorted out the ones that I didn't want. And so I was going to clean those out and use them for my magicals. Well, I got as far as 2. That's as far as I got. And so this one is the Poppin' Pink, and this one is the Urban Amethyst. And that's that's how it looks with just minimum water. Like if I just put a drop of the Magicals on here and then wet it, that's the color. They're watered down in here. What I did though is I put, like, I'll show you how I scooped in here. So if I want it this dark, I'll have to, either spray some of this out and add some more to it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like in a palette, let me just grab a palette here. Like in a palette, I got this one to use with my mermaid markers, so, but it can use for anything. But what I'm thinking is, if I want these more concentrated, yeah, they are very bright. If I want them more concentrated than what's in the jar, in the bottle, then I'll spray some out and then add a little bit more of the powder. Do you see what I mean? I have no idea, Erin. This is my first try with them. I have no idea. So anyway, Erin was asking if there's an official ratio. There probably is, but I mean, well, official in the sense that, do you want it this dark? Then there's hardly no water. This is almost full powder with just a minimum amount of water. Then here I have 2, and when I say for a scoop for me, where's my, when I put it, it's up here. I'm using a chopstick to scoop out of the jar, and so I put 2 chopstick full in each bottle, and that's all I put. Hi Twinkie, anybody else? I miss K-More. So that's all I have in here, but that's not this. This is powder with a minimum amount of water to show the full strength. That's full strength color right there. So what I want to do though is I have enough of these little jars that I have to still clean out, which that takes, a good bit of cleaning when you got something that looks like this with some old paint or something. You want to clean this out. So I'm going to clean this out, and I'm kind of trying to use, like, this one has a kind of a pink, leftover bottle, so I'm kind of using that. So like on this one I probably used, something like this, to do it. And I'm going to put a label. So what I did with each one is then I just took a label, and I had some leftover priority posted, these. Let's see here. And what I did, some went flying when I took my scissors out. Anyway, so I'm just reusing some of these old labels that I had in my mailing stash, and then took, let me just do one. Where's that pink one? Okay, let's go with this one because that'll be the next one I do. And all I did was to do the label. It doesn't take much to do this. Put that back in there. Okay, so let me get some water here. Brush. Okay, so put a tiny bit of water here, and I mean, you don't need any. I mean, I just barely touch this. I mean, there's just barely anything on there. And so then that's full strength, and then I just took it and made a label like this. Pin. I moved everything around, so I'm a little discombobulated since I built my new thing here. And then this one is called Hibiscus Rose. And then when I clean out this one, I'll put a couple scoops. And by a scoop, let me go ahead and show you that again. So I just took my chopstick here, and I picked up about like as much as a chopstick could hold. Can you see how little that is? About that much. And 2 of those scoops. 2 scoops like that in a full bottle. And that it's probably, I'd say, about half strength that way. It's probably about, I'd say, half strength of this with 2 scoops of the powder. Hope I'm making sense, because I really don't know a lot about these yet. And so, again, if I want it stronger, what I'll do is just squirt some out like that, and then I can add more powder to this. So I've already kind of got it half strength already working for me, and then I can just add more powder to this if I want to use it like a watercolor. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions on that little convoluted little description there? So that's my plan for all of my colors, and I have 5, 10, I have 16 colors. So I think that's enough for now until I really find I love them and get used to them, because I still have my mermaid markers too. My mermaid markers are vibrant like this. Here's the difference between the Dilutions, which is very vibrant. Whoops. Now this is not Dilutions. Again, I just use the empty jar. The difference between the Dilutions and the mermaid markers, which I'm talking about these, the Jane Davenport. See, I just reached right over there and got it right out of one of the slots. Is that these are not waterproof. They're like watercolors. These and the Dilutions, they are not waterproof. Whereas the Magicals are like a dry, it's like an ink powder. So when these are dry, well, you can use anything in a color book as long as you don't oversaturate it. You know. I don't know that I would, I mean, I might use maybe a little bit somewhere in a color book, but here's my thinking with things like the Jane Davenport, your Magicals, your expensive stuff. I personally am not going to, unless I did a special color book page, printed it out on watercolor paper or on a nice cardstock and wanted to do it for Bennett Klein, I'm probably not going to use magical powders on my everyday coloring. For one thing, you don't need to. You can achieve those effects in your color book without using expensive things. You know what I mean? You just don't need to do expensive things. My plan for these is I want to do some of the, I know you've probably seen people do the brush calligraphy and stuff like that with the watercolors, and you can probably do it with the Jane Davenport because they're the brush tip, or my or you can do it probably with your Zig Kuretake on a smaller level because those brushes are very fine tip. But I want to do some brush lettering with these. And because they are waterproof after the fact, I'm thinking, just imagine like let me think of it how I could, let me move this off here real quick. Like if you had, let's imagine a background of trees, a line of trees. Maybe one big tree with some, pretty watercolor magicals. Here's the reason I want the magicals to do this. And I know there's other waterproof inks, and I have a lot of them, okay? But then, like, let's say I did some drips or something on there, or rain, or pretty leaves kind of coming down trees. Then I could use a color and brush letter over the top of that without moving the tree line. The tree line, I could go right over it with a brush lettering, and not have it moved. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Although I also love the effect of when you sprinkle down the magicals. And again, guys, I've seen like a half of a video and one of Janet's. That's all I've seen on the magicals. So I need to do more research on them. But I got them because Eileen and Janet made me. Let's be honest. They made me buy them. And there's no two ways about it. Just like Paula made me buy the Hoo Hoo Hero markers. Okay. All right. So let me tell you the colors that I got here. All right. So I got to make a note that I talked about the magicals because I'll forget what video. Let's see. Hang on. Where's my... I've moved things around, so I'm kind of having to finagle where my pens and everything are yet until I get used to it. Okay, so magicals. All right. Let's move this out of the way. All right, now let me look at chat. I missed anything. They work like other pigment powders like brush shows. And yeah, but the thing is they're waterproof. Yeah, and you don't need a binder. The binder's in them. So you don't need a binder like some of the pigment, the powders. You need a binder so that they don't just flake off, brush off when they're dry. These are like the binders in there, and so you can just use water. All right, so here's the sets that I got. In this set here, this one's called the Mad Hatter, and they all, here's the little jars here. I'll just kind of set them out. Where's the... Let's see, is that Queen? I have that one. This purple, because I got them a little mixed up on my shelf, because I didn't care what order they are up on the shelf. But I'll show them to you. Okay, so in this set, and they on Amazon, I ordered them off of Amazon, but through Lindy's. Lindy's the one that I got them from. I'm sure on Amazon you can get them from secondary sellers. I don't know. I went with Lindy's. They're the ones that make it. So anyway, in this set, the Mad Hatter, it has Tweedledee denim, no, that's the wrong one. Wait. Cheshire Cat Cherry. This is the wrong one too. Hang on, guys. I got them mixed up. Chartreuse, Queen of Hearts, Teapot Purple, and Mad Hatter Mint Green. So those are the colors, and I can almost guarantee you when you add water with, just like I did on the label, minimum amount of water, that's the colors you're going to get. That's how vibrant they're going to get. You got the marker, Suzanne. So, yeah, so that's that set. The next set is called, and some are called flat, and some are called shine, I think. Anyway, this one says flat on it. And these are the neon graffitis. And let's see which one. Let's get it here. This one is Urban Amethyst, Sidewalk Chalk, Poppin' Pink, Luscious Lemon, and Blazing Black. Those are the colors that come in the neon graffiti. And that you can see them all when you go to order them. Okay, so that's that set. Then the last set that I got is, okay, where's the jar? Okay, I don't know what I did with the, here it is. Okay, then this set is called, they're flat as well, and these are the Caribbean Cruise. And in this one comes Mango Mania, Luscious Lime, Hibiscus Rose, Caribbean, oh wait, I got these two mixed up. Caribbean Blue, and Pineapple Paradise. So those are the colors that come in this set. Okay, I need to move my camera up just a little. It's a little off center. There we go. So those are the colors that come in that set. I know, I love the names too. So anyway, those are the sets that I got. Again, my first objective is, like I said, to get them all in their little jars and in their sprays and label them all so that I have them at least, the watered down, and then this is the full strength color here, so that if I want to use them in any kind of watered, already wet form, then I'll use the spray out of here rather than just water. I'll spray this down as my water to go with the powder, and it'll be more full strength right out of the jar. Does that make sense? And again, I just use a chopstick to kind of get out what I want. So I had a little measuring spoon, those tiny little spoons around here somewhere, like but I don't know what happened to it. It's been a long time since I found that thing. Okay, so there's my little info on the magicals, and that's, if you missed it when you first came in, I showed that yesterday I built my I built this yesterday, my 5-foot, this is sitting right here in front of me, my 5 feet pencil, marker, and pen holder. So now all my marker, not all, the ones that I use, like all the top row is all Prismacolor. These are all my Prismacolors on that top row, and then down here are in this little roll here are my Verithins. So I got everything really handy right here. Again, these do not include my like my Holbees or my the more expensive, nicer pencils. They're still in their box or in a pencil case. All right, I need a sip of coffee. All right, let me check chat real quick. Yeah, I did, G. Well, that's because I couldn't feel the dental surgery. I did that after I came back from a 2.5-hour dentist appointment, but it was all numb and everything. So it wasn't like I couldn't do something, but I tell you, I almost didn't stream this morning. But here we are. Okay, so the next thing I want to show real quick is Jen, Reading with Pugs, had asked about, she showed a painting on Facebook. Again, guys, I'll fix the lighting when we get down to that point. She asked how to do a glow in a hand with color book or pencils. Will you? Well, no, I still will probably, I'll still use my, here's all the pencils that I'm using currently in 2 different color books. These are the pencils I'm using currently, and these are all my kind of they're not quite nubs yet, so I'm still using these, but they are too little to rubber band, but I'm still using them along with these. These are the ones I keep in this bag, whatever I'm using currently, and I'm working on 2 different color book pages that these are the colors that I'm using, so I want to keep them kind of separate, but I still have my tray here. And as I'm coloring or doing a portrait or whatever, there's a lid there. There's a couple of left over. Anyway, I'll still use my tray here for ongoing projects. What is your hanging camera over your desk made of? It's a yardstick. It's a yardstick. Stuck under a shelf and sticking out and hanging down with those little gorilla tripod things, those little bendable, movable ball tripod, mini tripod. It's wrapped around the yardstick. Yeah, it's just a yardstick. Okay, so Jen wanted to see how to do that with color pencil. So I picked this page, this mermaid girl, to kind of just do a little section of her, just to show that. So, and this is out of the Fantasia. I've only done, so far, all I've done in this is work on this girl right here. That's as far as I got on her. Again, so those pencils you saw in the little pencil case, so there's colors out of here. All right, so let's go over to this mermaid here. And I might have to, I know, well, I know I'm going to have to adjust the lighting. And see, it just needs to be kind of propped up. So maybe if I tilt this a little this way. All right, hang on. I got to readjust the lighting when I zoom in. Because the lighting changes not just with the light from coming in from outside, but, okay, that may be one too close. Let's get a little back. Let's autofocus. Okay, I don't want it pink. Hang on, guys. Let's see what I can do here. Get my white shirt out of the way. Okay, it's trying to autofocus really. I don't want that. Okay, let's see if I can. Hang on, I might have been too zoomed in now. Okay, and just a minute. Every shot is a different. It's all different, right? Okay, that looks pretty good right there. All right, let's see if this will work. It still looks a little pink to me, and I don't know why. I guess it's just gonna, there. I just need to prop it up a little. Let me get a journal here. Get one of my journals, because there's nothing else for it to focus on, so. Okay, there we go. Now it's a little floppy. That's not gonna work. All right, let's move it up a little. There we go. All right, because I want to work on her. I'm just going to work on this area right here. Okay, so that's her tail back here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do some acrylic paint. Now, to get those kind of glow, whether it's coming off of her hand, whether it is a glow around her body, whether it's glow around a planet, glow around a star, glow around a foam, whatever, you have to have a base of something other than pencil. I like acrylic paint for the backgrounds because it has more tooth than watercolor. But watercolor, neocolor, those will work as well, but not quite as well as acrylic paint. So I'm going to use acrylic paint. Again, guys, I know it's a little pink, but it's kind of wanting to, see here. It wants to not go pink. All right, I think that's probably as good as it's going to get. This close up. Okay, hey Clarissa. All right, so what I'm going to do is, let me get my little brush here. This one will probably work just fine. And I got to decide real quick what colors it's going to be. So let's just say she's going to have a pretty, maybe a, let's see what color green I want here. Maybe an amethyst teal for her body. And the water, maybe a pretty, like a light, well, I want something, well, really all I need is the tail, because that's where the glow's from her hand, but I'll go ahead and do these two colors. All right, so what I'm going to do is just going to put out a little bit of the tail color. Let's clean that off there. Let's see. Don't need much because you're going to water it down. And then for the watercolor, I'll use like Bahama Blue. All right. We good, guys? Hopefully. All right, so I'm going to get some water. And I try to use remember to use my spray bottle because that's clean water rather than water out of my, where I clean my brushes. All right, so it's very watered down. I mean, I didn't even need near that much, right? It's like a wash. Because if you can't see the colored lines behind it, then you got it too thick, right? Because you can't see the where your the color book. So I'm just going to go ahead and do her tail. And I might work on her for a while. We'll see how it goes. But first I'm going to show you the glow in her hand. Then we'll continue on. So if you have any questions now, I can kind of look at chat. So I haven't, seen chat for a while. But I just thought I would do a little glow demo. Okay. And then it comes back around here. Now I don't need to do all this to show you that, but I'm going to go ahead and do it since I have the color right here. And this is just like the base wash. This is not going to be the final color on the color book. She's got some kind of other weird thing going on there. Another color maybe would be good. Or you know what, I'm going to just color the whole thing, and then I can go back and shade this a lighter or darker or a different color. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a complete wash. Again, it's not going to go through as long as you don't pill your paper and oversaturate it. It's the water, not the paint, that makes a bleed through or, go through the page. But always test your books if you're not sure how much, a little more water, how much you're doing that could go through. And then if you need it darker, if you're using whatever kind of wash or watercolor you're using, if you want it darker, let this dry or hit it with a heat gun before you put another layer. Because it's all the layers of water that causes the paper to pill or causes it to go through. I could be using a bigger brush. I'm using this little tiny brush. I could be using a bigger brush. Yeah, I like this color too. It is antique teal. And again, guys, I use Americana craft paint for my washes and also in my collage work. I just like it. Nobody pays me to say that. I just particularly like Americana colors and coverage. So that's just what I buy and what I use. Let's see where this is going up here. Maybe a little on her skin there. It kind of looks like she's trying to scale. So we'll see how far we get on this. And I try to tell you too, guys, when I'm doing examples, I try to explain anytime I work ahead that's like normally that's not what I would do. Like in other words, I would not worry about this glow on her hand till I had everything done. The price Americana is definitely right. Yeah, I know. You can get them for like between, sometimes they go on sale for like 99 cents to $1. I don't think I've ever seen them higher than $1.20 for a jar. And I mean, they last forever, guys, especially just for washes in a color book, for goodness sake. I go through them a little quicker, especially black and white, because I do like, my collage work with them as well. And I just have my book resting on that, so I have a little bit more control over the light. Okay, so there we go. I got her whole tail done there. Okay, now the background, I'm going to have this Bahama blue. So again, I'm just getting it watered down here. And right now I just want to concentrate on around her hand, just because that's where I'm going to. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I might do a darker... now we'll go ahead and go with it. Okay, so when I'm coloring around something like these little foamy things, I'm not worried about these little tiny bubbles, those little bitty ones. See, these colors are so alike. That's the thing. I'm going to have to do her tail a darker green to stand apart from this blue. They're too similar in tone. But anyway, because I can always go back over these little tiny dots and even add more with the Posca or white acrylic paint, right? So I'm going around the larger ones, but even that I'm not being very extra careful. And it's really a good idea to put something behind here so that when you go off the edge, you're not getting it on the back side of the page. I usually use wax paper or a piece of cardstock. All right, so I'm just trying to get around her hand right now, just to show the example. Because it does take a little bit of time to do this. Now, here's another thing that I do when I'm coloring something like these little bitty leaves. Here's the thing about acrylic paint. You can go over this stuff, like I just went over those leaves. You can go over it with your acrylic wash and then still go back and put your color pencil over it. And it's not going, your color pencil is not going to not work. You know, it'll be just fine going over any areas that you get paint on. So when you're doing little tiny leaves or anything like that, if you have acrylic paint there, you can go over it. Your pencils will go over acrylic paint. I know I'm not going to show y'all right now, but I think I've shown y'all, I don't know, a dozen times. The black paint versus the black color pencil background and trying to go over it with a pencil, and how it's so simple to go over acrylic paint with a pencil, but it won't go over a pencil. Maybe I'll show you all that example again here. I'll just use this green I have. So you can see I'm not being overly careful right here on this coral. I'm just kind of, I'm not worried about getting it on there because I know I can pencil over that once it's dry. You have to make sure that your paint is 100% dry before going on it with pencil, because that definitely, well, there's a leaf right there. I'll just go over the whole leaf. It will not go over wet paint, but you can see how much easier that is just to paint over that whole thing right here and not try to paint around every one of those leaves, because I can go over those leaves. Yes, Andrew would love this page. Mermaid. I can go over those leaves with pencil with no problem. All right, so let me just quickly show you. Let me get a little scrap paper here and show you what I mean with the dark. Okay, so I'm going to take the full strength, the green here. I usually show it with black. Well, I really should show it with black because I don't have that color and pencil handy. I'll be digging. So let me just get a little dab of black paint. Here we go. All right, let me just put a drop of black paint. Oh, that's more than a drop, but okay. So I'm just going to take a little bit. So here's just black acrylic paint. Okay. I want to show you this because this is the best example I can show you. All right, the difference between, usually when you see hard body acrylic or artist grade acrylic, this is why I use matte craft paint. When you buy, and I've got the expensive acrylic paints, you know, Golden, Liquitex, and different ones. The artist grade, they're considered artist grade paints. They have a shine to them. Their binder, now I can't swear about every single paint out there, so don't email me. Say, oh, this one doesn't have it. Okay, chill. But most of the artist grade acrylic paints have a sheen to them because of the binder. Craft paint, if it's matte, now you can buy gloss, you can buy satin, you can buy metallic. Those all have a shine to them. The plain old craft paint is matte. It doesn't say it on here. But if it doesn't say satin or gloss, then it's matte. It's the shine in those expensive paints that resist a color pencil. So that's why I use craft paint, because there's no shine to it. Okay, so there, I'll let that sit for just a second. Let me get a black pencil. Hang on. And a white. Okay, now I got to let that dry or hit it with the heat gun. It's got to be 100% dry. All right, so now I'm going to take a black Prismacolor. Okay, let me kind of move this up here. And I'm going to put a full, dark coat here to get it as dark as, let's just say you were painting a background and you wanted it really dark. Okay? Both of them look nice and black. Okay? Yeah, Prisma. All right, now let me make sure that's dry. Okay. Now I'm going to take a white Prisma and I want to show you. This is why I like acrylic paint on backgrounds. This is the reason. Or a wash of acrylic over like her tail. If I had colored all this in with color pencil, this would not work. Okay? All right, so that's color pencil. Now I'm going to put full pressure. Here's full pressure with the white pencil. It smears out. It smears out. And this is also why you always want to clean off. You want to clean off the tips of your pencils to make sure there's no color on there before you go, especially if you're doing portraits or skin. You always want to make sure the tips of your pencil are perfectly clean, or you'll move that color onto your portrait or whatever. Okay, so that's white Prisma. Not quite as well. Not quite as well. It still works, Jen. Jen was asking about Neo Color 2s, because I do use a lot of Neo 2 washes. The Neo Color Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 water-soluble crayons. It works okay. It works, but not quite as well as acrylic. But I don't know that you would notice that much of a difference unless it's a large background. You would probably notice a difference because the acrylic paint has more tooth. Okay, so here's where I'd scrubbed as hard as I could the white color pencil over the black color pencil. Now I'm taking the white pencil, and this is acrylic paint. I'm going to put very little, I'm going to be way back here, very little pressure. Well, if I can get the side that has pencil, look. It goes right over acrylic paint. You can't do that with pencil on pencil. And then again, if I put more pressure, I can literally get it back to white. This is why I like acrylic paint. Right here. Because you can't do it with pencil. So that's why I love me some washes, acrylic paint. And now, if I do a full-on background in black, I don't add any water. Or if I do backgrounds where I want a flat, matte, flat color. And some colors, I get people saying, well, I tried lime green and it didn't go flat. Well, it may take 2 coats. Certain colors are more translucent, like red, yellow, lime green, certain blues. They're more translucent and may take 2 coats on a large background to get it flat. A flat color like that. But this to me is the most dramatic way to show you pencil over pencil and pencil over paint. So that being said, you cannot get the glow that I'm going to show you. I mean, I guess you really could if you worked at it and put the white down and then tried to work around the glow. Way too much trouble for me. All right, so however, this color for me is not quite different enough from that. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit darker color. Now that's too much water. I want it just to be a little bit different color than, tone than the background. So I'm going to add a little bit more dark. As long as you can see the lines, and I don't know if you can see the lines, I can still see the lines because I'm going to want to add more detail on her tail. But I'm skipping ahead. Like I said, don't do this. You're going to do this at home. Don't do this hand part now. Finish your get everything done. Okay, well let me clarify that. I'm trying to think of everything while I'm imagining coloring it in my head and trying to tell you everything. Let's say I want some light shades of pencil on there. If I have pencil there, I'm going to have to deal with this. The white pencil is not going to go over the pencil. So if I want any kind of an acrylic background where I want to work on that glow, it has to be on the acrylic paint. So you don't want pencil there where you're going to try to paint on top. All right, so now I think, let me just get a color. Let's see. Let me just get a flesh color for right now. So I'm just going to quickly put a coat of skin color. And I got some paint on her hand. I did not let it dry. If I would have let that dry right there, I could have just covered that up. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so that's still wet. But what I want to show you, now I'm going to hit this with the heat gun. All right, got to bring my heat gun up. I've got to bring, my heat gun's just out of reach here. Hang on. I got to move the plug for my heat gun since I reset up this, set my pencil thing up here. Okay, so now that's dry. So now I can take my pencil sharpener. I just reset up this table yesterday and I haven't tweaked it yet. Okay, so now what I can do is I can get in here on top of the acrylic, right on top of the acrylic, and put a glow. Now, if this background was dark blue, you would see the white really well on there. You're probably not going to see it very well. Okay, so we're just going to, and I would probably put a little gold pearl in her hand or something. Or you could take, let's see, do I want a nice white pearl? Yeah, let me take a white Posca. Where are they? Again, I got to get used to where everything is. I think I'm going to put a white pearl in her hand. It may not show up well. Oh, wait, now I blobbed it. Hang on, one moment, please. Don't blob your Poscas on the page. So there we go. Hey, Vicky. Yeah. Okay. Now let me dry that, guys, because it's wet Posca now. I gotta come back over here because my heat gun's not reaching. Because you can't do pencil. Did I get that dry? You can't do pencil on top of wet paint. So yeah, that's kind of how you do the glow. And that's how I do it around stars. Let's see if I have an example there. Let me get my little notebook out. And then you can do soft too. Like soften it. Do you see what I'm saying? And let's just say I didn't really like it. I could paint it over. So, you know, paint it out. All right, let me set this to the side for just a minute and show you some more examples if I have them in my... Slide everything out of the way here. Okay, let me bring my notebook back over here and let me zoom back out. Hang on, guys. And I lost my chat. Alrighty. Hang on, guys. I lost my chat. Okay, I'm back. All right. So, and now the sun's coming through and putting a glare on everything. Okay, so I'm going to tilt it so maybe you can see it. So, like right here, see the glow around the astronaut? Here's a good one. Like I just put some circles around there. Let's see. I'm trying to see, probably more in the jasmine. Okay, here's one. It's probably easier if I just take it out of the book. Around this girl right here, see the moon, the glow around. The moon. That's because that's acrylic paint. I couldn't do that right there, guys, if that was pencil. If this black was pencil, I couldn't do that on top of the pencil. Let's see what else. Trying to flip through here and find. Okay, here's another one on this Jasmine girl. It's all the same exact principle. Whether you're doing a glow around a head, a glow coming out of her hand, a glow coming around birds or butterflies, a glow around stars, it's all exactly the same. Okay, here we go. There's some. See it around the... Here we go. This is a good example. Right there. Oh, the lighting. The bane of a streamer's existence. Never stays the same. How do you get your pages out of your books without an X-Acto knife, Prisma? Just take an X-Acto knife down the spine. And sometimes they're perforated. Some books are perforated. And here's an example. This little girl, this little mermaid, she has a yellow glow around her. See? And then same thing for the moon. And this is painted clouds on there. So it just works the same no matter what the thing is that you're doing, whether it's a star or a halo or whatever. Right? So let's go back to this girl, and she's got the... There. Now, you can always do that with paint too, guys. If, let's just say you colored the background, well, I wouldn't color a whole background with pencil, very rarely. But let's just say you colored, let's say you wanted the glow to come over this tree. You can use paint. You can use paint to do that. Let me go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and add something to it. Let's take her out. Let me get a little white paint on my, where's my palette? There it is. Okay, let me grab a little white paint. I'll show you here. Just need a drop. Come on out. It's kind of, let me just take the, this one's clogged up. Always make sure you close up your, that's gray. I don't want gray. Close your lids. Close your lids well so you don't clog them up. And I don't have my pokey tool handy. So I'll just open a new white. So I want to show you what you can do here. And I like using my finger, but I know most people probably are not comfortable doing that, but a tiny bit of, okay. And you can do this. And then if you get too much or too little, take a baby wipe. Baby wipes are my favorite blending tool. And I know I'm covering a lot of things right here, guys. And just kind of blend it out with a baby wipe. See? So I just made it more with paint. So you can do it with paint or pencil. But if you want to do it with pencil, like the glow around her head there is in yellow. It's the reason I could do that is because that's paint. Okay. Okay, any questions on all of that? Let me hit that with the heat gun before I put it back in the plastic. And I always just write on the back what book I got it out of. And I mount my pages on a piece of black cardstock with just some double-sided tape, a couple of pieces of double-sided tape, just enough to, you know, attach it to the page, and that way I can, you know, keep them all kind of consistent in my book. Okay, so there we go. There's all the tips on the glow. So now there's my Bennett Klein. He's my very first page here. This one has a 10-part video. probably like 20 hours of work on that one, but we did this one real slow, and this was a step by step. So if y'all want to watch how to do this, there is a full on tutorial on this baby. Okay, sip of coffee. So I think while we're sitting here, I'll go ahead and if I can get the flash out, work on this page for a little bit. All right, hang on. Let's work on the lighting again. Oh, good, guys. I'm glad. I'm glad. All right, let's adjust everything. That looks pretty good right there. Has a little bit of pink tinge to it, but we're going to go with it. All right, let me clean up an area here. Make some space. Oh, great. I froze up. Okay. I don't know if y'all froze, but my settings froze. There we go. Alrighty. Hang on, guys. Oh, not a good day to get frustrated when I don't feel very well. But let's just wait a minute. Let's see if it kicks back in. Everything on my end froze, guys, so just a minute. If it doesn't unfreeze, I'll have to reboot. Yeah. And that means I probably will lose this video because I can't save it. All right, here we go. Let's see. One moment. One moment. Don't panic. Pop out my chat again. All right. Okay. Any questions? Are we good? Okay. All right, so let me go back to my little bit of paint here in this. I'm going to go ahead and work on some background, and I'll at least get some of this done while we're chatting, just because I've got it sitting here. And eventually I will want to get this done anyway. So if you have any questions, let's, this is a good time because now I can read chat, or I could ask you questions with the chat pack. Okay, everybody loves the chat pack. Oh, I love answering the chat pack questions. Again, I'm going to be, I'm holding up the page. I could really just put something behind it, so I'm not worried about it. And if y'all remind me in a little bit, let me finish up this. I'll show you the what we got done. That video that I worked on the trees. Maybe I should work on that too. This can be color book catch up, I guess, again. More color book catch up. The werewolf page. That video did not upload to YouTube for whatever reason. Every now and then we get a glitch on Ustream and a video just won't upload. Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen to all of us streamers at some point. Thanks, Vicky. Yeah. All right, I need a little more squirt of water. I'm just using this little palette right here and just watering down that Bahama blue paint. And again, I'm only going around the large foamy areas. The smaller ones I can either Posca over or pencil over. I'm not worried about it. I want to know how you did that black on the green background. You'll have to tell me which animal or what creature was it, because I don't know what green on the background in myth. Which page was it, Barb? What creature? Are you talking about the dragon? How I did the green background. Be more specific. For coloring book 72 or Prisma, I'm trying to Neogen Prisma. Yeah. No, that's plenty colors for a color book. 132, 72, any of that. That's plenty of colors for a color book. And this book is perforated. Now, I did find that some books that have perforations, it's a good thing because you can tear them out easy. But at the same time, like the island one that has kind of watercolor paper in it, if you get that perforation wet and then you kind of turn your pages, it will eventually just tear out. So you may not, the tree lady. Oh, okay, the tree lady. You may not, you might not appreciate perforated pages if they start coming out and you don't want them to come out. And those island books with that watercolor paper, although they're so cool to work in, the perforation will come out. They start to bend and almost tearing themselves out of the book. All right, so I'm just kind of working my way down. Again, I'm not really worried about going over some of these kelp leaves here. I just want to kind of get that background washed in. Oh wait, Wolf, don't upload too quick. Okay, I'm 10 minutes. Okay, I missed something on the download. I missed that. Let me see if I can scroll back. It's really hard for me to scroll back, so let me see. Yeah, it's you can download the wolf video to your. That's what I do. I do all my videos that way, Jean. I download all my videos to my computer, all of them, and then upload them to YouTube. It won't work. I tried both ways in that video, and it didn't work. So, yeah, sometimes there's just videos that have glitches that will not upload to YouTube no matter what I do. Not very often. Again, doesn't happen too often. Maybe, 1 in 50, but it happens every now and then. Hey, Kimberly. But I do that with all my videos, Jean. Okay, so do I want this to be rock and that rock? Maybe I'll put a little bit of water down in between that coral, but I think most of that's rock. She's sitting on some kind of a rock. So here too, there's a big shell behind her. So now I'm going to go back to the dark green or the teal green. Better go watch the Bloody Wolf. I'll leave it up for a while, Vicki. Yeah, that video is the one where I did the added more bloody footsteps and stuff on the werewolf and the tree. And I'll show it to you here in a minute, guys. Maybe I have another. I think there's another tree. I could probably work on that. It's on Ustream for a while. I deleted a bunch of videos to make space because we're only allowed so much space on Ustream in the free accounts, which is what we have, all of us, because it's very expensive to buy Ustream time if you want, unlimited storage space. See how I'm leaving that light area there, and I'll leave some of this light too. So I'm putting another coat, another layer of the teal green, but this is dry. Don't put another layer when it's wet because you'll go right through your page. Just saying. Don't email me if you go through your page. You like the tree? Yeah. So that was a Saturday stream. Okay, so let's see, I want a little darker right in here. I'm just kind of picking out some areas where I want it darker. And I'll get the mythomorphia out. Barb W asked a question on the tree lady. So I want this to be very watery and flowy because she is in water. And maybe right up there on the side, maybe a little bit more up in here. A little bit more on the back side here. There'll be probably a shadow right in there. And probably under here. So you can see how you can start watercoloring up layers. But just make sure the layers are dry before you start doing this. Because this is not watercolor paper. You could be doing layers and layers on watercolor paper. Wet into wet and, scrubbing and all kinds of things. But color books are not made like that to have that kind of abuse. So you got to, treat them a little gentler. Okay. All right, so we'll have to let this area either hit it with a heat gun or let it sit for a minute. So yeah. All right, so while that's sitting for a minute, let's put that to the side and get out the mythomorphia. We're all over the place today, rabbit trailing. All right, so let's go back. Let's go to the one that I think, is this the one you're asking about, Barb? Is this the one you're asking about? And what was the question again? Was it something on the glow? Because again, this is all done the same way. This would have been a good example to show Jen. I should have just pulled this one out as an example. Because this is paint, acrylic paint, and pencil. I think I did outline some of it, some of it with a little bit of Posca right along the tree edge. But that's this is pencil pulled out there. Any tips, beginner tips for shading? You never know where to put anything. I would say look at references. Just go on, Google Images or Pinterest and look for shading, where to shade, color. You can find tons of videos on where to shade. I guess, you have to kind of imagine where your light source is. Sometimes it can be like directly this way, where from the back, like for instance in my, this one, the light's coming from back here, behind the mountains. Okay? So because the light it's a sunset, I don't remember, Dragon. I'm real good about thumbnailing examples of my color book pages. I try to be very explicit in what I'm coloring. Unless it's like today, it's kind of a random color book catch up. But if I'm doing a full on, like this, I think has 3 parts to this one. If you look at the thumbnails in my videos, you should be able to tell what I'm coloring with just at a glance. Okay, so this one has the sunset, so the light's behind it. So the mountains are darker. The snow is darker. It's, the purple, it's like behind. Same thing for here's the trees. Okay, here's a good example of the shading. Because the sun's back here, the light is coming on this side of the tree. So I shaded the back side of the trees and left the glow of the sunset on this side. So now when I go over on these trees, the light will be on this side and the dark on the back side of the tree because there's my light source. So you have to know how I did the black. Okay, hang on. Let me go back. There is no black on here. She wants to know how I did the black. You mean the dark green? These dots? Is that what you're talking about, Barb? These These dots right here are marker dots with the super tip watercolor, the Crayola super tips. These. So I painted the background green with the green paint, and then I took one of these. Now, the thing about using your water-based markers on top of your paint, you got to let that dry or hit it with a heat gun. Because while this is wet, while that's wet, I can smear it. See? You have to let that dry. But that's what that is. Yeah, it's a dark green dots. It's all pointillism all the way across. And then after it dried, I took a dark green pencil and kind of shaded a little bit extra dark down here with pencil on top of all of it. Yeah, dot by dot. That's it. Dot by dot. Dots all. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back over here to my magicals are in the way here. Let me put them back up on the shelf because I'm blocking myself in. And move these jars. And the only reason I saved these jars was to show you guys, because unless I find a use for them, I won't be keeping that. Okay, so all right, so here's our our werewolf. Thanks, Vicki. Which I did more work on that Saturday show. Again, you can see this video on Ustream, but it just will not upload to YouTube for whatever reason. The trees, I did the trees, and I did the bloody footsteps. I did a little bit more on his fur, and I finished the bats and the birds. So I finally finished all the bats and birds, but as you can see, all right, so let me kind of show you the steps that I used on the tree. Okay, so here was our wash. I think it was a Neo Color 2, alizarin crimson Neo Color 2 wash. Then I took, hang on, let me get my little thing of pencils. Tuscan red and a sienna color. Okay, I took Tuscan red and sienna. Then what I did is I went to get, this is a finished tree right here. This tree's finished. This tree has just the wash, and this tree has the Posca. So let me come over here to this one, just to show you a tree. Okay, and I'm not zoomed in, but I think you'll still get the idea. So what I did next was I shaded with the Tuscan red, and I'm just following the lines in the color book that Kirby put in, the tree swirls and shading. Okay. And did that. And did the shading, the darkest shading, with the Tuscan red. I need to get me some more coffee here in a minute, guys. Go check on the hubster. He's homesick today. And bless his heart, he took me to the dentist yesterday. He wasn't feeling good. He had 2 days. I had Monday and Tuesday off, and we did our gardening. So we got the garden in. Then he started feeling sick Monday night. Then he was sick yesterday. And he took me to the dentist, and he thought it would just be like maybe, and I did too, an hour. It was 2.5 hours. Bless his heart, and he was not feeling well at all. So he's not feeling good at all today. Hi, Carol Renee. All right, so now I have that. Now I'm going to take my sienna or terracotta, either one, and this is where I started doing some shading. Okay, so like over here, started shading, and I know I'm not zoomed in very well, because I'm readjusting my light every time you zoom in, zoom out, close up, far away, you have to readjust your settings. Because, then you got autofocus, auto light, right light, you got all these settings, and they change every time you zoom in or out. So I'm just going to stay right here for a minute. Okay, so I'm just kind of doing a little bit of shading, like maybe under these bats, right in this little tree branch here. So my plan today was to work on the magicals, but because I didn't finish bottling them. Thanks, button. All right, now I'm going to take my Posca, and this is true for anything you want to like have the bright. Remember on our other page we did in the walk in Eden last Monday, I think it was Monday, we did this page. Remember we added little bits of white Posca like here, and then after it's dry you can go over it with color pencil to knock back the white. Well, that's what we're doing here as well. So now I'm going to kind of just do some, okay, I think I picked up one that's not working very well. Oops, no, I've got it too thick. So I'm just kind of accenting some of the swirls and things. And what I'll do now, when I'll hit it with the heat gun to dry it faster. Oops. Yeah, this Posca's, I smacked it and now it's real juicy. Too juicy. Okay, now let me hit that with the heat gun so it's dry. And my heat gun's in a different plug, so I got to take it to the heat gun here. And now I'll go back with my terracotta and go back over the white. You'll still see the white Posca because it's acrylic paint. You'll still see the white, but it'll be knocked back. I mean, it'll be like light terracotta. Well, that's not helpful. Okay. So just go over the whole thing. And you can go over each line if you want to, take more precision. So now I have the terracotta, light terracotta highlights, like that. Yeah, if y'all are talking, the magicals are permanent. They don't, once they're dissolved and dry, they don't move. The dilutions are very vibrant too, and I love my dilution sprays, but they're not permanent at all. Those babies will move in a heartbeat once they're reactivated. All right, so there we go. So I took a little more time on this than I did right here, but I think you still get the idea. And then I started shading down here, the dirt, and then I added a few, let me get in my little bag of what I'm using for this page. There's a dark gray in there. And even added a few little extra dots for pebbly things, and then, shaded under some of the tree. Did some shading up under here and took the light gray and kind of blended it out. Then added some like bloody footprints because he is a werewolf. So what I have left to do on him is the fur. the fur just like I'm doing, and there's at least 2 videos where I'm working on the fur uploaded to YouTube. It's continuing. It's going to be all the exact same thing on the tail. On all this fur here is going to be exactly the same as right here. So how I did this is just going to be a continuation of that. And then I'm going to add the gold paint on the edges of the fur. Let's see if I can get it to there. See how there's gold on his fur? I'm going to highlight the edges of the gold, the yellow ochre color with gold paint. And I did the moon with silver. And yeah. And I think I even added some Wink Stella on top of the silver. So that's pretty much the whole, how I'm doing everything on the werewolf. I showed you how I'm going to do the claw. I did the claws, the trees, the moon, the fur, the bats and the birds that are all in the background. They're all done the exact same way. So yeah. So let's see what else I have done in here. I have this page, this double page spread done. This dragon here, and again, this one I did not do a video, but I did explain it a few times how I did it. It's got acrylic paint wash, and I stuck with 3 main colors, red, blue, and green. So I have the lime green wash, a light blue wash, and the background is flat, I think alizarin, let's see what color was it. Was it this color? It might have been cranberry wine. And again, I got all this kind of glowy, pencil-y look. Now, some of this is paint. Some of it's smeared paint with a baby wipe and paint. Okay? But then after it dried, I went back in with my white and did more of a glow. See? Did more of a glow. Because that's acrylic paint, you can do that. So there's him, and then here's the other side with all the snakes. I'm trying to get it so it doesn't flash out. But the hardest part of doing something like this kind of a page is after you've colored everything in, then picking up some paint on a baby wipe and going right over the top of everything, because there's no going back from that. You cannot get that gone. If you put acrylic paint right over the top of your color book page, it's there for good. Somebody had to talk about a spray to seal dilutions. I know there's all kind. Here, let me talk about some sprays for a minute, because I do get a few questions on that. The sprays that I have had use of, fixatives and spray sealers, okay, I've not had good luck with. One, the ones I've ever tried, they smell. Even after, if I spray it, close a book, come back 6 months later, I can still smell it. So I do not like, okay, Scoops, thanks. I don't like the lingering smell of spray fixatives. The other one, some people have said use hairspray. And I haven't done it recently, but you know, back when we would use Aquanet on top of color pencil or even graphite, every single time I've tried that, I have splotches of Aquanet. The nozzle doesn't work well, or it seems like it's working well, and all of a sudden, plop, plop, plop. And you got splotches of hairspray everywhere that do not go away. So I don't use hairspray. So there's all different kinds of things. I seal, when I varnish, I know I've shown you all a bunch of times, when I varnish anything like my mixed media collage pieces, I use my Delta Ceram Coat Gloss Exterior Interior Varnish. It's liquid, it's not a spray. So I'm controlling what gets put on. Now, the thing about doing any kind of sealers, now fixatives, you know, again, you're going to have to mess with your fixatives and see what you like. I do not fixative any color book pages, or varnish any color book pages. Because here's the thing, guys. If you use Neo Color 2 and you try to varnish this, that's going to move. If you use watercolor, it's going to move. Yeah, well, maybe you had good luck with your Aquanet hairspray, Shalene. I've not had good luck with hairspray. I've always get blotches, or it's not consistent. I personally, if it works for you, great. And I'm not telling anybody not to use anything. What I would tell everybody is I would test it, especially if you're using, like I use my tone tan paper for my portraits. There's no way I'm putting any Aquanet hairspray on my portraits. Not a chance in heck. Am I spraying my portraits on tone tan paper with hairspray? So what I would just tell you, whoever, is to test. Don't go in there with a full-on finished color book page or a full-on portrait or anything, and just, okay, I'm going to spray this with Aquanet. Don't do that. Test it on, the same kind of paper, whether you're using whatever kind of paper. You might be using, if you're doing color pencil, it may be some kind of a pretty pastel paper, or the tone tan, or the tan gray, or the tone gray. You better test it before you do a finished piece and go in there and spray it with something. Yeah. So that's just me. And again, if you're going to use any kind of anything on water soluble mediums, watercolor, neocolor, watercolor pencils, anything that can be reactivated, there's no way. Okay. Okay, so then again, I got her done, and I haven't done him yet. I have a few washes done on, like this one. I got a bit of a watercolor blue wash on this one background. But again, it's because this, I did a little pencil test here for you. It's because this has got water, washed down acrylic paint. Look, I can go in there and I can get every one of those bubbles back to white. If this were blue pencil, let me sharpen my pencil. If that were blue pencil, hang on guys, let me sharpen. There's no way that I could do this on top of blue pencil. And again, I wouldn't be doing this at this stage of my page, but I'm just doing it to show you. See? Do Neotel's move? Yes, they're watercolor, Prisma. No, they're not permanent. Neocolors will move. And of course, it's going to depend on how watered down they are. But yeah, same thing, especially dilution sprays. I have gone back on Dilution's art journal pages years later. Well, I don't know how long, ever since they came out and I first used them in an art journal, at least a few years, couple, 2, 3. They'll still reactivate, even with heat guns and everything. That's why I'm anxious to use the magical powders, because these are like, as far as I understand, these are Neo's move if you make them a watercolor. Yeah, well, here's the thing about watercolor paper. I personally, when I'm color book, if I print something out, let me finish my comment on this. Is that, as my understanding is, these are powdered inks. So supposedly it's kind of like how an ink tints works. Ink tints, pencils are ink, and once you have fully dissolved them, they are permanent. And that's why I like these. They're as vibrant as Dilutions, but they're waterproof if they're fully dissolved. Now, what was I going to say? So many questions and so many rabbit trails. I forgot what I was going to say. on watercolor paper. So when I print out something to color with, like my marker test that we did, like here, let me grab it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Where did I put it? Oh, it's my lookbook here. When I did my marker testing, this is cardstock. Here's the thing that I personally don't like about watercolor paper. I mean, I know you can buy the hot press, smooth, very expensive watercolor paper that's smooth. I personally, when I'm working with color pencils, do not like textured paper at all. A cardstock that has a bit of, it's not like a gloss, right? But it's not bumpy at all. I personally do not like working in color pencils on watercolor paper. Really, I just don't like watercolor paper really at all. I'd rather use a nice, cardstock, Bristol, something. Um, because I don't like the tooth. I don't like fighting the tooth of watercolor paper. Very textury with pencil. So if I print something out to uh, use for marker and or pencil, and it's going to be something smooth. That's just me. Everybody likes different things, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with any of it. It's just what you like, your preference. But I try to tell you guys tips on like what will move with water, whether it's in your art journal, your color book pages, and see, none of that went through. Nothing went through because I did not oversaturate. That's one wash. If I want it darker, I'll go in there now that it's dry, and it's even more protected now. I could even do more acrylic washes because it's already got a dried coat of acrylic. Acrylic won't move. So when I put another layer on here, I've already got a protective coat of acrylic paint. So I'm even safer now going over this with a darker color, another layer. And it's that first initial washes where you get your paper really wet that you really have to be careful. Because and this color, this Mythomorphe is a little thicker paper than his last two. But there's some papers that are so thin, it's like copy paper thin. Like Bennett Klein's are very thin. But again, Bennett Klein sells his books for really a cheap price, and you can reprint them out. You can even buy the digi copies and print them out on cardstock. So yeah. So anyway, that's I think pretty much all I've got done in here. I want to finish this page. This one's got stickles again. I would not put stickles on a page, or what nib did you use? Nib did I use to I use brushes. I use paintbrushes to paint the backgrounds. Okay, thanks, Clarissa. I showed how I put stickles on these mountains. I personally would not do that till I was completely finished with the page, and then I would go in and stickle areas that I wanted, glittery. The tip about stickles that I would say is if you use like the Stickles brand, or really any kind of glitter glue, if you use any of this, make sure that when you put it on, you smooth it out with your finger. Don't have this bumpy. The reason you don't want bumps is now if you go to do the next page, those bumps are going to be interfering with your penciling. Does that make sense? So you don't want anything bumpy on this side that's going to interfere with your coloring on the next side. So make sure you don't, you keep it smooth. Don't like just line it out there like dimensional paint. Don't put it out thick like dimensional paint. Oh, look great. Until you go to color this page or this page or this page and you feel a bump. You know what I mean? So anyway, and again, I added some, I think Winka Stella down here in the water. I'm trying to capture the. So if you do put any glittery stuff on, just remember that the next time, the page you're going to do, the next couple pages actually, you'll have bumps if you're not careful. So that's all I think I've done in Mythomorphe so far. Okay, so let's go back to a little bit here on the and on this book right here is the one that Kenny sent me. This is the, let me find the cover for you, the Fantasia book. And I know there's plenty of people. I did a quick brief flip through back when I got it, but you know, there's complete flip throughs. I think Laura does one. Didn't know not. Yeah, because if you have it bumpy, the stickles or whatever kind of glitter glue you use, it's going to affect your pencil coloring, because you'll have a rub. It's kind of like you do rubbings on, you know, rocks or graveyard rubbings or anything like that. You're going to color pencil that, and you're going to have a rubbing of texture. Which, you know, there are cool ways that you can do that on some larger things, like let's say on the look book, a larger area, or you could even do it on a background. Let's say you wanted a nice pencil, a texture or some kind of pattern, I should say, a pattern. You could put even a stencil that has lettering in it, like an alphabet stencil. Let's see, do I want to attempt that right now? Because we're going all over the place today, so it's going to be a rabbit trail color show today. Let me see if I can, I'm going under to see if I can find a stencil. Hang on, guys. Well, that's a big alphabet stencil. Well, let me just drag. Okay, here's two. So here's a couple stencils. Okay, hang on. I gotta get this paintbrush that went flying. Oh, I'm crawling all over my floor, gathering up stuff. Okay, let me get a piece of. Just get a piece of. Do I have a piece up here? I'm looking for a piece of just paper. Hang on. Grab one out of a notebook here. I need to get some coffee. I need my coffee. My coffee is cold. Let's see. Oh, there's those other stencils. Okay, this stencil bag would be better for smaller things. Let's see if I can just find. Got my stencil bag here. All right, hang on. Let me dig through here. Let's see. This one would probably work. All right, let's test it anyway. I should test it on a piece of, if I can find a regular piece of paper. Come on. I just want a piece of printer paper. Getting one of my idea notebooks, because I don't usually just have printer paper sitting here. All right. Okay. So, so you can do this in thinner paper. Now, if you have a thicker cardstock type color book paper, it's not going to work because the cardstock's too thick. But let me show you here with the test paper. Okay, so, but you can do this in your thinner pages. Let's get, let me find a blue pencil here. All right. And this is also the reason why you don't want to use stickles thickly when you go to do it. Okay, so. Okay. And you can use stencils for that kind of thing. Let's see, here's this is kind of a big, this would, you know, you have to have a specific kind of a page to use lettering this big, but I just want to show you the effect. Okay. My pencil needs sharpening already. You gotta hold it still. See, this kind of rubbing. So you can do cool effects like this. And if it's smaller, like here's some dots. That pencil needs sharpening. Here's a black one. Whoop. See if this will work. This one probably won't work because it's paper. Paper stencils are not probably going to work because they're just smashing. You really need a plastic or a heavy cardstock. Let's see if we can do these stars. This would be a good one for a color book page. Punchinella, the Punchinella stars. Let's try that one. See? So, anyway, that's just something else that you can do, you know, if you're brave. If you're brave. Okay, well, I'll keep that, so it'll be a good example. The next time I want to show that. All right, back to this. All right, before, yeah, they did, didn't they, Vicki? Okay, and that's the plastic, you know, the Punchinella, the metally kind of plasticky stuff. All right, so real quick, let me go grab some coffee. Oh, I probably have to make some. I might just get some juice. I got to get something to drink. So let me run down, get something to drink, then we'll maybe work a little bit more on her if y'all want to. Or when I get back, if you have a specific something you want to see, because again, this is kind of like a hodgepodge, color book hodgepodge today. Bye, Shalene. Hey, Kia. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Let me go grab something to drink. Oh, I did have something else to show. Okay, got me a little bit of cranberry juice, and let me check up on chat. Chill for just a second. So I am really excited about using the magicals in some different projects, but mostly I'm excited about doing it with lettering. Janet will probably want to do it with lettering as well, because Janet does lettering. And Eileen made us buy them all. Hey, Articky. Just copy a magical. I've been intimidated. Have I done anything in magical, Dawn? I don't know if I have. Here's the thing, if you're intimidated about a book, make a copy on some cardstock and practice. Test your colors, your shading, or whatever, your blending. Test it on some cardstock and your color combinations or whatever, so that you're not afraid. They worked well with the dip pen? Okay, thanks. See, I know you probably have talked about it. I'm not caught up on your magicals videos. With her, okay, so Janet did use black magicals with her lettering, pen lettering. Okay, yay! I want to do it with the brush. I want to do brush lettering. You know, and you could, you know, even with the like the mermaid markers or the Zig Kuretake real brush markers. I already made a couple sprays, Carol. You weren't here when I came in. I'm making sprays with all of them, but this is as far as I got because I had to go to the dentist yesterday, so I didn't get. This is as far as I got, and then I came home and built a pencil holder. I wanted to make Miss Jean proud of my building skills. Let's see. I'll show you the photo again in case y'all were just coming in here. So I came home and built this 5-foot pencil and marker holder out of foam board, foam core, black foam core, and a roll of packing tape. That's all I use. An X-Acto knife and a metal ruler. Would you use Posca, then pencil over it? Yeah, Jen. Yeah, I just showed that. That's what I used many times. Like for instance, on the tree here. That's got white Posca, and then pencil over. I did it. I do that a lot actually. I actually do that quite a bit. In this lamp here we did the other day. If I can find it. White Posca dots, white Posca with light blue over, Posca with light gray over it. Well, I was still numb. So it wasn't like I was in any pain, Eileen. I was still all numbed up, right? So Huckster's the one that doesn't feel well. He's got a cold. He's all stopped up, coughing, sneezing. I just tell him, please wash your hands a lot. I don't want that cold. So, yeah, do y'all have any more questions or anything? Does the foam feel sturdy? Yes, it's sturdy. I've used foam board before back when back in the 80s, early 90s when I was in decorating, store decorating, display. So I've used foam board a lot, but not recently. But I know what it can do. I know how sturdy it is. I've made giant tigers and lions and bears, oh my, because when we did visual merchandising, we would have those big like 8-foot pieces, 10-foot pieces maybe. I don't even remember how big they were, a foam board. And we would paint giant animals and different displays on foam board because it's so sturdy. I'm trying to keep up with any questions. While we're talking, I'm going to get out some coral color to work on her. So I think I'll go with a wash of coral blush. And I need this is kind of all watery with blues and greens. So let me get another one here. And I just use coffee lids for palettes. If you're not used to color, blending and seeing color, I would recommend white palettes, but I just use my coffee lids. Okay, so let's water that down. And I'll try to answer questions while we're chatting here. And then I'm going to get out the chat pack and ask you guys some more questions. All right, so I'm going to do, and let's make sure it's watered down enough, at least to test. I'm going to do a little shell top here. And remember, this is just the initial wash. When I go to shade and pencil, I'll zoom in. I think I'll do this star. I'm going to keep it, 2 or 3 colors. And if y'all weren't here on Monday when we talked about design seeds, hey Kim, using design seeds as a reference for color combinations, and we did the notebook, make yourself a notebook. Okay, so back here the shell is behind her and there's also some leaves, so I'm just going to kind of get that shell washed in. And I'm going to kind of going over the leaves. I'll just pencil those back in. But try different mixed media. Try markers, like water-based markers. If you want to use your alcohol-based markers, you have to print that out, because alcohol-based markers are going to go through everything. Copics and alcohol-based, they'll go through every paper just about. I mean, it won't go through like render. There's certain papers it won't go through, but color books, yeah, it's going to go through all your color books. So you have to print those out so that they're on cardstock, and then it doesn't matter if they go through. All right, so I think it's time to get out a question out of the chat pack. I've been having so much fun with those. I hope y'all enjoy that too. I mean, I got a lot of comments. Everybody's saying they like asking the chat pack questions, because it's like gets people talking to each other in chat. So let's get that out. So this is called Chat Pack. Fun questions spark conversations. I got this at Barnes & Noble, I mean, years ago. I don't even know if it has a date on it. Not that it matters, but so we've just been picking out a little, out of the middle, some cards, and asking questions. Do you prefer acrylic wash? It depends, Laura. If it's a big area, like in my Morpheus, I like acrylic. If it's a small area, like in the one you gave me with or any smaller areas, I like the Neo colors. That's just, but I think it's just kind of personal preference. Okay, so let's see what questions we have here. Well, this one might take y'all a little thought. Okay, this might be a little. I think I'm going to do this over here. These coral in this color too. If you could don't just shout out an answer. Y'all think about this one. This is a trick question. Not really. If you could uninvent any past invention, which one would it be? And it says, consider all the ramifications of eliminating that invention. So don't just shout out something you don't like now. Think about what that would mean if we did not have it. Think about all the ramifications of not having that invention. I actually have it in my idea notebook. I found, first I tried to write down as many as I could. Then I did more research to list more that I didn't think of. I wrote a list of all the discoveries on one page that I could think of and could find, and on another page all the inventions. And that will spark a lot of creativity when you go to think up ideas. Kind of like this question here. Okay, one girl said cigarettes. Yeah. Does body hair count? Prisma. Well, Kitty, now think of if you didn't have cell phone, think of all the ramifications of that. We say that, but do you really not want cell phones? Probably not. I don't know. Not me. That would probably be, that would be the first invention I'd want to keep. Cell phones. I mean, I know there's bad about everything. Don't get me wrong. Anything can be used, in the negative. But you have to think about, what does the good of that invention outweigh the negative? Couldn't live without the internet. Yeah. Cell phones, but maybe not smartphones. Taxes. Taxes have probably been around since, the invention of money or the idea of trade, I mean, not the word, maybe not the word tax, but yeah, probably. Yeah. It's been around for as long as I can think of in history, as long as it's been money. See, I guess it's just all in how it's been, how it's used. You know, it's all in how it's used. Okay, so I got that coral there. Got some more over here. And again, these are perforated pages. Not that I'm going to tear them out anytime soon, but it's nice to have them. But if you get that perforation wet, then it's more likely to tear when you turn it. Okay, there's a little bit more of the shell right up here behind her. And I'm thinking that might be coral or it might be kelp. Not sure. Back in there. Hey, Sherry. Oh, I said Sherry and Siri came on. See? Did you hear? Oh my goodness. Okay. And then when I want Siri to come on, he won't. Remember last week when I said I wanted you to hear my British man? Okay, let's go on to another question. Let's see here. That's kind of similar to one we had last week. Oh, now this is a kind of an interesting one. If you could bring back any tradition that seems to have faded into the past, what tradition would you bring back? Oh, taxes go way back before that. Taxes are back in the Roman days. Taxes are by way before the Roman days. um, so what tradition would you bring back that seems to have faded? I'm looking around here for any more corally things. Okay, now I got to decide what this rock, because some of this is rock too. I almost just want that another corally color. Do I? Or do I want it? I'm thinking. I have to think of her hair color. All right, and the kelp. What color do I want the kelp? Oh, wait, here's a little bit of blue. Let me water that down. Respect your elders. Saying please and thank you. It's a game, New York crafter. Get with it. Writing letters, snail mail. That's a good one, Vicky S. Yeah, letter writing. They still do that quite a bit, Kmore. Maybe not everywhere, but they still do it quite a bit. She's talking about singing the national anthem. Prayer in school, doctors who make house calls. That I don't think that one's going to happen. It may out in some, rural areas, but extended family living, family dinner time. Now, of course, some of these things, guys, that y'all are mentioning, there's nothing stopping you from having it in your own home, in your own family, you know, like family dinner time, unless people are working at odd hours where they can't all gather or something, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Um, yes, sir, no, ma'am, yeah, chivalry. You'll have some good ones. All right, let me think real quick on my kelp color. Olive green maybe. See, again, the olive green is going to be so similar to this tealy green. So it's going to have to really be something. Of course, it doesn't have to be green at all. We can do yellow kelp or yellow ochre. Let's go with yellow because see, I love my certain colors. Let me find me some yellow ochre or something a little bit not bright yellow, but let's go with that's spicy mustard. That's a good one. We'll go with, it could be, yeah, let's go with spicy mustard kelp. Talk to people on the phone instead of typing at them. Oh, you mean talk like literally instead of messaging, talking? Yeah, that's not nice. Would be nice to have. Oh, I missed something there, button. Something about moving out. I missed the prequel to that one while I was looking for spicy mustard. I'm gonna water that down just a little more. And again, I'm just going to get an initial color on here because I'm going to go in here and shade with pencil. So it's kind of indicating where the mustard color is. Some of this kind of hard to tell if it's the kelp. I'm kind of guessing on some of this. I think that's like wavy kelp there. There's a little bit there. Yeah, giving meaningful gifts instead of, yeah, that's a good one. Again, that's the kind of stuff that, I guess some of these answers y'all give, it's like nothing stopping you from, okay, that's white cloud thing there. Nothing stopping you from doing that yourself. But yeah. Okay, so well, I think I'll do her hair the kelp color too, this yellowy color, because it ties everything together, and it kind of looks like her hair is flowy, seaweedy looking hair. So we'll make her hair a golden color. Oh my gosh, Janet just got more magicals. I thought you had all, well, not every set, but I thought you had pretty much all the sets already, Janet. Girl. uh, oh yeah, I got plenty of questions. I just thought I'd give you all a minute to cover that one. All right, let's see. All right. Get some of this. I think that might be kelp in there. I'm not sure. That could be part of that background shell. Okay, another question. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not at all and 10 being very much, how superstitious are you? 1 to 10. 1 being not at all and 10 being very superstitious. And I'm just painting here while we're talking. Janet, you accidentally ordered more? Uh-huh. Ah. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess for me that falls palm that falls in the category of I don't care what they think. them are not superstitious. The chat's flying by, guys, so I'm only seeing like half of what y'all are saying. And if you're writing paragraphs, I'm not seeing it at all. Because it goes too fast, I can't read a paragraph with the chat moving so fast. I don't know what you mean about not being allowed button. Superstitions? People can be superstitious whether it's allowed or not. Okay, let's see. Got all the kelp, I think, and her hair. Did I miss any? All right, now some leaves. I got some leaves in here. I think I'm gonna maybe let me just see if I can kind of let me use a little bit of this green and make a like a darker yellowy green here. So you would be a 10, Barb, on the superstition scale, on the superstition Richter scale. That's not gonna be dark enough. Okay, let's make it a little darker. I'm just mixing some of that teal and the ochre color and trying to make a green that'll show up but be a little different. It's not different enough. It's not different enough from her body. Kathy, would you get some magicals too, Kathy K-Bird? Is that what you're talking about, the magicals? All right, I think I might just think of I'll find a pencil color to color in those leaves. All right, so now all I got to consider is the rocky area down here, and I think I'm thinking like maybe a sienna, or maybe I don't want to get it too earthy because it's under the sea, but I'm just kind of trying to keep it a little different, but I don't want a big old blue contrast. Oh, I don't know what a marabou spray paint is. And crayons, Kathy. I don't know. We need pictures on Twitter, Kathy. Do I want to go with a brown? Maybe. I guess it could be a sand color. Let's see. Let me go. Let me try this color. That's gonna be. Let's just go with sable brown. And again, this is just the initial wash, guys. We can brighten everything up with pencils. Okay, moving away from the superstition, let's ask another question. Some of them are kind of long and involved. Acrylic spray paint, and thanks to Sandra, I found out they have crayons. Ah, well, we need Xandra to do a demo with those babies. Maybe she has, and I haven't seen it. But I thought Xandra didn't do a couple of streams because of being out of town or being sick or something. So, all right. So now I'm going to just let me go in here with a little bit of. I want to kind of have some of it blend into coral, and some of it kind of maybe just blend into the rock. So some of this area you can't really tell where the coral begins and the rock ends, you know, kind of blend it up. The sprays are permanent. Oh, and okay. Well, we'll have to. Do you know if Xandra's gonna do a video on that? Okay, this is not gonna be dark enough. It's not gonna be enough contrast for the coral. This is gonna have to be darker brown. So let's see here. Let's go with dark brown because I want it to show up. So let me just add a little squirt of dark brown in here and water that down. Add a little water. She doesn't have, she just, okay, thanks, Kathy. You know she will be doing a video when it comes time. Okay, I gotta water that down just a little bit more, the dark brown, because I don't want to lose my color book lines in there. And I probably should have dried that, so let me let that sit, because that's wet there. I'm adding wet paint on wet paint, and you know that's not a good idea. All right. All right, I'll ask another question here in a minute. Yeah, because the tan color is too much like the coral color. Let's add a little bit of see-through areas. Maybe here. A couple areas where you're seeing through the coral. Pull my black down here. Next show I do, I want to do some more. We haven't done it for a while. We haven't done any art journaling, collage, or art cards, or mixed media. Because I know we all get into our color books, but I also want to do other things. Let me water that down. Because that's just me. I mean, I would draw a lot more too. But I know people like our mixed media and color book shows. So I know. Well, I know some of you like Vicky. She loves the collage. Just putting a little bit of brown on all these rocky areas. Let me get this done, then I'll ask another question here. And we can start doing a little bit of pencil shading, and I'll zoom in. I just thought that when I'm doing the whole wash thing, that if you see the whole page, it's probably better. When you go to color and shade, that's when it's better. Zoomed in. Whoop, too much. Let's water that down. And this will be a good one to add some glittery stuff too. Again, just make sure you thin it out with your finger or something so you don't get bumps. All right. Let's go back in here behind a little bit of this kelpie. It's just a lot of stuff going on back in here. Love your altered book collages. Oh, thanks, Arctic Elizabeth. I enjoy those. I'll enjoy doing them. It's very just, you know, it's not anything you plan. It just happens, and I like that. Okay, that's starting to get up into the shell now. Well, there might still be a little bit of a shadow, but that's the shell right here that's behind her. And I think that's pretty good. Let's do that a little bit right there. Okay. Alrighty. Is that where you got the crayons? Was it Blix? What are they called exactly again, Kathy? The crayons and the spray paint. What's it called? Move all my paints out of the way here. Marabou. Marabou? Marabou. Marabou or Marabou? Marabou. Cool. Maybe let me look them up. Show a picture if I can find them. Let me look on the I'll look on the iPad because it'll be bigger. Marabou. Did I spell that right? Spray paint. See if it comes up. Ah, here we go. Jerry's Artorama. I got some here. Here's Blick. Here's a set at Blick's. Okay. Let's see. Ah, they're fabric paints. That's why. They're fabric paint. Now, how different are those going to be from the, what are those fabric paints I have? The, tulip fabric spray paints. I wonder how different they're going to be. The tulip ones, I mean, they look like it. Look, let me get the... There's the green, teal. Let me hold on a second. I don't know. You have these two, Kathy, so you'll let us know. Okay, good. Now, and then here's the little markers, I guess. Fabric, I can't read what it says. Fabric marker? That's the denim set. And it looks like the set looks like three in a set. And does it come with, it looks like it comes with 3 paints and a marker, and it's $12.96 at Blick, regularly $19.99. Yeah, Kathy, let us know. Okay, let's put that back up. Alrighty. They have another kind that are sprays, not fabric sprays. Oh, okay. So the ones I just looked up are fabric sprays. Okay, let me look. All right. Back to Blick. So they're not going to be called fashion spray. I wonder what they would be called. Let me go back to just the general Google. Okay, here's... Thanks, though, for letting me know that. Let me look. Here's one from Jerry's Artorama. Okay, these are Jerry's Artorama. Are these the ones then? This? Acrylic spray. Okay. Marabou Mixed Media Acrylic Art Sprays. That's probably then what you're talking about. But, well, they're acrylic, so they're probably going to be waterproof. Here's one close up. Right? Okay. All right, so that's probably then the different one. One's for fabric, one's for just mixed media. Kathy and Xandra will let us know if we need them. Yeah, you can open links for Kathy if you want, Terry, or Janet, whoever. Okay. We are enablers, aren't we? All of us. Don't think you're not, whoever you are. Okay, so what do I want to do? Do I want to work on the... Let me move some of this paint out of the way. Paintbrushes. We need to ask another question. Okay, that might be a good one. Okay, here's one. And I think I know, well, maybe I don't know what Eileen would answer, because I know some of the famous people she's met, but we'll let her name drop. Who's the most famous person you have ever met? We'll let y'all run with that question for a minute while I find some pencils. Which now, all my Prismas are right here. In my here, let me get my little picture thing back here. In my little right here, my 5-foot pencil and marker holder I made yesterday out of foam core, black foam core board and packing tape. So all my Prismas are right here on this top row. So now I can just reach right there. Of course, if I'm using a color, see, I keep them in here when I'm using them. Like these are my separate, pulled out ones that I'm using. Okay. Oh, Janet said Eileen. Okay, Melody met Princess Di. Kevin Smith, Button Addict. The Kevin's okay. I know it. Okay. Judy said Kenny Loggins, and I know they're going by fast. So if I miss it, so Eileen said Dick Clark, Fabian, and the Four Seasons, etc. Because our Eileen, and I like to say it because it's fun. Dorothy Dot met Gregory Peck. Eileen used to go on American Bandstand, and she used to babysit not for Dick Clark, but for Dick Clark's son. She babysat Dick Clark's son, not Dick Clark. I said that one time. She goes, I didn't babysit for Dick Clark. A lot of people are saying they've met people from bands. You met Dick Clark too, Prisma? Well, you and Eileen go sit together. Barb said she met Obama when he was president. Eileen said, yes, yeah, I know, right, Eileen? Yes. Whippy met Andy Griffith. Janet met one of the singers from the Turtles and gave me his earring. You're such a cougar now. Janet, I love you. Johnny Depp, New York Crafter said met Johnny Depp. Jennifer met Eddie Montgomery and Troy Lee Gentry. Oh, Prisma said someday she'll meet me. That's so cute, Prisma. I think I've had probably about 10 fibs visit. Probably about 10, maybe. I need to write them all down again. I have them written down somewhere. But Jen met Britney Spears. Have y'all ever seen that Britney Spears? I'll have to show it because I don't want to show it while I'm recording. But after I finish recording here, if y'all have not seen that Britney Spears video when she was like 5 or 6 or something like that, her first television appearance, I think, was Star Search with Ed McMahon. Have y'all seen that? It's so adorable. Janet said, oh, I was so young and he was so old. Janet. Yeah, I hope more. I love it when people visit. Just as long as you tell me you're coming. Because I have to buy, make sure we have plenty of grilled cheese. Yeah, Vicky, the Britney on Star Search. It was so cute. Julie Topaz had Sam Walton. All right, I'm gonna be digging. Let's see if I even have the coral color handy that I want. There's an exact color I'm looking for that I had out, but let me look in my pencils up here. There's an exact coral color I wanted. This is going to be too red. Muse Watson, Celine Dion. I waited on Nick Nolte and Ed O'Neill. Cool, Julie Topaz. You're going to dress up as a mailman. I know what my mailman looks like. I don't think you could dress like him, Laura. We got the same mailman for, I don't know, probably as long as I've been here. Okay, my pink flesh color, this will be a good peach, will be a good shading color for her skin, but it's not, there's a certain peach color, maybe that's too orange, I think. Pale vermilion, that'll work. And then I also need a light. I got my skin tones in bundles because, I do a lot of, my portraits. So I have my skin tones how I want them. Let's see. That'll be good for the kelp. As will an ochre. I need one shade lighter here on my skin tones, though. Those. Okay, that'll be good. So does Janet. I miss what so does Janet. No, let me test this on her hair. Yeah, that's not going to be quite dark enough. I'm going to need one shade darker of an ochre. So it means I'm probably going to have to go into my browns. Maybe, let's see. Yeah. My next color is going to be probably a sienna color. Okay, there we go. That'll be the hair and the kelp. This will be the coral colors. We'll go with that for now. Oh, and I do need the mint green. Let me go to my greens here. Hang on, guys, I'm not looking at chat for a second. I'm probably going to need... That's like a peacock green or a parrot green. And one like a mint green. Those may be enough. What's this one? Maybe. We'll keep those three. I know what her mailman looks like. Sherry raised an eyebrow. All right, let's go ahead and do another question while I'm going to start color. Oh, let me. I do need to first. Let me zoom in and all that business. Let's see. One minute. Let's see if I can. Whoa, no. That might be good. That might do her. Okay, Bunny. I don't even know what time it's 11:30. Oh, I'm almost at 2.5 hours already? Oh my gosh. I cannot believe we are at 2.5 hours already. For real? Okay, I think I might need to start another video. Because we're going to run out of time. I have about 10 or 15 minutes. That's not long enough to do anything. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. We'll call this one Magicals and Coloring Hodgepodge. And then this one, we'll call this one Working in the Fantasia. Okay. So, if you're watching this video on YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video and we'll start another one, Coloring in Fantasia. So, hang on, guys, and we'll be right back.